there, welcome back. Still tuned into First Trades. A quick check-in on the markets and things holding out at around the 19,086 mark. Yes, indeed, that is the ring of a record high that we're seeing on the index. All in all, the Nifty Bank Index providing support. The broader markets as well are cheering that move. So clearly, it's a Friday mood and I guess celebrating Nikunj's birthday as well. Okay, let's put the spotlight then on the primary markets. You've got IdeaForge in the spotlight. There has been a pretty strong response to the IPO, but let's understand the business better, talk about the outlook from the defense and civil order book, what the expansion plans are, and what the IPO proceeds will be used toward. In our studios, we have Ankit Mehta, who is the CEO at IdeaForge Technology, as well as Vipul Joshi, the CFO. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for taking time out and joining in. Good to have you right here with us in our studios. I wanted to start off by getting a sense as to what the outlook is in terms of the growth strategy over the next 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, so if you look at the drone industry, in a way, the industry hit an inflection point when we were at about so basically around the pandemic, an industry that was more good to have, more experimental in terms of induction of the technology in most operations, started to move towards mainstream use because we realized that in the pandemic, even doing enforcement of lockdowns, it was preferred that maybe drones could do that activity or robots could do that activity. So that inflection point onwards, the industry has taken a real upswing also because of the geopolitical scenarios globally. If you look at what happened on our northern border, if you look at the fact that we had the Armenia-Azerbaijan war, we have the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war where drones are the talk of the town and have made a genuine difference in terms of the operational tactics that each of the parties have deployed. So there is a massive momentum in terms of induction of the drone technology. You've seen that the civil regulations have been improved over the last couple of years. We have the ban on imports of drones. We have the PLI scheme, as well as recently as last week, we have the opening up of exports opportunity for civil uses of drones as far as our regulations is concerned. So all of that with the ground movement of the fact that there is a large-scale induction of drones happening in many use cases. If you take an example from our industry report as well, then you will find that we have the Swamitwa scheme that the government of India is driving, where we are mapping all the villages in the country and creating property cards of the houses that villagers have lived in but have not had ownership of, even if they've lived in it for generations. So they're first time getting that ownership on grassroots. There are several states who are doing full-scale mapping of the entire state. We have national highways that are mandating use of drones for surveying and making sure the progress is monitored. We are looking at mining. We are looking at many other use cases where use of drones is expanding very rapidly. So both on defense and civil side, there is a lot of drive towards induction of the drone technology. And if you go by the report as well, then you will find that the base in India was fairly low as compared to the global base of drone revenues in that one sense. So if global revenues in CY22 or FY22 were about $20 billion, India was at only a $43 million revenue base. So that base to climb up to a sizable number within the overall drone ecosystem is itself going to give a fairly high headroom to the drone industry in the country.
Why are you coming to the stock markets to raise money?
So, first of the factors is that there is enough growth potential right now in the industries, right? Ankit was highlighting from the industry report as well, that the inflection point is here and now the growth looking at for FY27 is about $800 million. The areas and sectors that are looking at promising from a long-term perspective is primarily logistics, tactical drones, under which IdeaForge is right now looking to venture out as well. And to promote these growths, we will be requiring funds for which we are in the market.
Why should one invest in your company? Simple question.
See, I think, as if you look at IdeaForge, we have been the pioneers in this industry. If you remember the movie Three Idiots, it was an early prototype of ours, which was a part of the movie.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh.
And we've been building drones since the year 2004, when for the first time, me and my teammates, when we were still students at IIT Bombay, built a drone of the quadcopter style that you've seen in most weddings now for the first time. So we've been building this technology, and in a time where none of the subsystems or components were available off the shelf. We had to build a lot of the subsystems in the technology ourselves. So not just pioneering the space, but building the entire technology stack We filed over 62 patents, of which about 25 have been already granted in various countries like India and abroad. So a lot of in-house technology development, very strong control on the overall technology space and the way these systems get utilized in the field. We have been focused from the very beginning that what we deliver should be used by our users. And if you look at it, we track the amount of use that our drones see in the field. Our drones have done over 350,000 missions in the hands of our customers. Every 5 minutes an IdeaForge drone takes off.
As many missions, Ankit, if you could just break it up between how much of it is government and how much is civil.
See, the way the market tracks is defense and civil.
Okay.
The reason is that defense has their own airspace management approach, and civil uses are governed by the civil aviation authorities globally, right, for all countries. So between defense and civil, if you look at our FY23 revenues, then the split we have suggested in the RFP as well is about 70% is in defense, 21% in civil, and about 9% is the PLI incentive that we received.
I'm looking at
in our operating revenue.
I'm looking at your numbers, and there was a EBITDA loss in FY21, EBITDA profit or EBITDA of 75 crores and 57. Turnover has gone higher. So I would imagine that it should be the other way around, right? Which is that FY22 EBITDA should be lower than FY23 EBITDA. It's the other way around. As you grow in terms of scale and reach, the operating leverage should kick in. So FY23 EBITDA should be higher than FY22, but it's the other way around.
So there's a special component that has hit for FY23, especially around ESOP numbers, which has a large impact on the EBITDA margins, especially only for FY23.
So you charge ESOP at EBITDA level, you don't take it below the line?
No. So that's a major impact just for FY23. And if you look at our adjusted EBITDA, that is about 45%. So that is minus the ESOP adjustment.
Okay. Now, the space which you represent is a highly competitive space. Everybody is trying to disrupt, and the existing players are getting challenged because of technology. What would be your USP? Because in a technology-dominated business, while the size of the opportunity, size of the utility, the relevance of the category will only increase, but there are also intense competition. How will you ensure that you stand tall? Somebody will not come and have a drone which is lighter than you and goes higher than yours.
So I think, I completely agree with you. And if you look at some of the most competitive spaces, right, let's say, for example, mobile phones as a market, then you'll find that players like Apple and Samsung dominate because of technology. And, while people catch up to what we are building today, we will continue to strive harder to build something that they have to again catch up to in the future as well. So as a business, I think technology and continuous innovation is our DNA. We have demonstrated it over many, many years. If you look at our Netra series of products, we've now on the 7th generation of that product. And in every generation, we've improved performance, we've improved the ability of the system to sustain its operation in extreme environments. So when I say that our products have done 350,000 missions, these have happened in the length and breadth of our country, from minus 30 degrees in temperature to 6,000 plus meters in altitude to take off, to operating in the Thar Desert, marine environment. So the entire spectrum we've experienced, and our technology is building off that experience flywheel that is now continuously learning and becoming better in every generation, in every iteration.
And also to add there, I think it is important to note that we have been in competition with almost all large players in the market, not just domestically but also internationally as well, who have participated in different tenders. And we have sort of beaten them in a competitive environment in different opportunities all across all these years. And we have continued to invest behind technologies over the last 16 years as well, irrespective of whether people were catching up or not, and our continued effort was to push the boundaries on all spectrum of technology that we were contributing in.
As you grow, I've seen companies when they start, there is a growth curve every company follows. One is the incubation stage, then is the high growth phase, and then there is the maturity curve. As you will scale up, what kind of management bandwidth you have? What kind of technology advantage you have? Because if you become listed and we're talking about a business which has a multi-year scalability trajectory, how will you ensure that you keep up with the pace?
So, you've asked a great question, right? Team is very, very important. And, we've had the luxury of having a, committed team from the very beginning. It was the three of us promoters who started the company. Then we had Vipul join us. He's my childhood friend in that one sense. And
Man, both of you look very different. Same batch, is it?
no, so not same batch in engineering, but we were together in Jodhpur, which is my hometown.
Okay.
And we've done our schooling together. And then eventually, when he finished his
So
MBA
you
in
grade early and
Switzerland,
he
we
did
came
not grade early, is
together.
it? With all due respect.
So I think team is
See what being a
extremely
CFO
critical.
does to life. And especially when you go public.
Life's changed.
That's where you're headed now.
No, and if you look at my other two co-promoters, Rahul and Ashish, they both are dedicatedly, building technology. One of them, Rahul, is our VP of Engineering. Ashish is our VP of R&D. So, technology is a core. In fact, I personally have a name on some of the patents that we have filed in IdeaForge. So, technology is our DNA. So, technology progress is something which is the most normal and the natural thing to IdeaForge. In terms of business and team, I think the team that we have assembled around us is also something which has enabled the growth so far, and we are looking at progressing further on that.
So eventually, if one were to ask you, not now, maybe 10 years from now, is the battle going to be one on who can make the cheapest drones, who's got the bestest technology, or is it going to be a volume game? Because eventually, more and more drones will come into the market, and hopefully, who knows, maybe commercial use as well.
So there is always this fight between, price of a drone versus delivering a machine that can deliver lower cost of operations. Now, a machine that delivers lower cost of operations, for example, these are comparisons that you do between OGs of machine building versus many other players who have copied those machines. You can get more use per investment in a machine.
Sure.
And I think the future of additional use of the technology is going to be primarily led by how much you can get out of the machine, what kind of operations, at what scale can you enable, rather than just looking at cost or looking at volumes. Volumes is without doubt to be able to scale, the volumes will happen, the spread of technology will happen to the last user who needs it. But at the same time, the user who needs it is not buying it unless it's a consumer drone for entertainment, for just buying inexpensive equipment. They are looking to buy it because there is some use from that equipment. So
what
the
are
use
chan-
cycles matter.
Yeah, so just to, final question perhaps, what are the chances that the drone business goes what has happened to, let's say, the IT storage business? IT storage rates have collapsed from a floppy disk to cloud. Your size has gone higher, rates have gone lower. And could that happen to the drone industry? The usage will increase, the availability will increase, but scale and size
So the
could
cost
crunch
of the price of service may go down, but that does not mean the data center is cheaper.
it. You say that again, the price of
The
service
price
will
of
go
the
down.
service may go down, but
Okay.
the data center need not be cheaper, right?
Yes.
So therefore, it is basically that dichotomy that we have to understand and straddle well, that yes, the price of services has to go down, but at the same time, technology needed to deliver that lower price of service or cost of service is going to be.
But sir, those who
important
were
to
making
build.
floppy disks, they've also gone down. Whether it's Amtech or
But
some
technology
of the service providers.
changes.
Technology is changing.
Technology
That's
is
my
changing,
point,
and you
yeah.
have to keep
See,
adopting.
again, the price point also will differ from the use cases that you're deploying the product for, right?
So what's your cheapest drone at?
So right now at about 5 lakhs.
5 lakhs.
Yeah.
Can't fly. 5 lakhs,
I have
really?
a DJI, I don't know the price of it. But that's like just...
No, my
That's a
son,
consumer
my
grade
son
drone
bought a
anyway.
drone from Hamleys last year, and that was not for 5 lakhs. I can tell you. So he bought from Hamleys.
Parrot.
I can imagine.
And what's the cheapest it could get in 5 years?
That we can't predict right now.
Again, would depend on what use case. I mean,
And what's your
Yeah.
most expensive one? Let's
I
ask
don't
that
get
on
that.
How
Yeah,
many
the price
lakhs?
can be, it can be more than 70 lakhs as well.
Well,
Okay.
you live and learn. Interesting.
Yeah.
Good luck, guys, and
That's
congratulations.
definitely
on
not
the
the one you're buying your son. Okay, Ankit, Vipul, good to have you with us in
Thank
our
you.
studios. Thanks so much for walking us through the details. By the way, the subscription closes today for the IPO, and yes, the company is backed by the likes of Qualcomm Asia, Infosys, and Celesta Capital. Okay, shifting gears, Nitish Mitterson is waiting by. Nazara